Hey, how's it going? I'm Aaron Demeter, if you don't know me. I recently started working more full-time with Hand-Eye Society, doing operations and sponsorship coordination. But more importantly, I'm a 3D artist, and that's what we're doing here today. So we're going to be using K-Cycles Blender. Oh, my camera's a little off. Oh, great start. I'm going to be using K-Cycles Blender to make a little sci-fi scene. If my camera will. There we go. There. All right, so we're started out in K-Cycles, which is basically just like, it's a little bit of a different render engine. It's a, how do I turn on closed captions? Let's quickly do that. Stream closed captions. Let's go to those on. Anyways, so K-Cycles is a third-party renderer that is GPU based, and it's pretty darn good in my opinion. Basically, it's like faster than regular Cycles, even Cycles X, and it does some really fun post-processing stuff, like adds in, if we look over here, if we go over to Cycles, here's the K-Cycles X renderer. It has a new denoiser that's very good. It has some really good post effects. That means that you don't have to mess around with compositing as much. And yeah, so let's start by looking at some reference images. I brought these in using a program called PureRef. It's just a nice little kind of way to make like a mood board. Yeah, and so I just brought in a couple different pictures there. We're gonna be doing something, I don't know, a little loosey-goosey. We're gonna make a little bit of a landscape here. So starting by deleting the default cube, and then, you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of the light as well at this point, because we're gonna be bringing in a full physical atmosphere. But to start, I want to make a landscape. We're gonna use, if you go into preferences, add-ons, and type in a.n.t, you can find ANT landscape. And I think we're going to be using this for this project. We'll see what we kind of come out with here. So let's see. Some fun planet. What does planet look like? Oh, that's a full planet. Maybe that would be fun for something in the background. But right now, I'll look through a couple of these and maybe get like a good mid-ground. Do dunes. Actually, this is pretty good. I think this is a good starting point. It's relatively large, so that means I think it's 20 meters by 20 meters, which I think I'm even going to bump up a little bit just to give myself a little bit more room. We're going to double that. And that's just going to give, you know, if we were eventually, if we think about moving this into a Unity engine and converting it over to a real-time rendering engine, we'll probably have to reduce this a little bit. But for now, not that bad. So let's mess around with some other stuff. Some seating. We also want more of that. Oh, a little bit too much. Height, let's get it a little bit bigger. So at this point, we're just going to reduce. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. We kind of want the noise size, let's say around 12. See how that looks. All right. I think we're getting there. Let's see, we kind of want to, oh, I actually just accidentally, if you click outside of the landscape, then it automatically generates, which is one of the kind of annoying things about Blender, but that's okay. Got lots of time to mess around with this. So let's see. 1.5. A little more rough than I'd like. This creates like a nice little flat plane. We can sit in this crater here, I think. So this is where we're gonna put our scene, whatever it ends up being. Yeah, so let's keep that. Here's our landscape. Just to give it a quick initial texture, we're gonna run into my Extreme PBR, see what textures we have here. Stony ground. Okay, so obviously we can see that this is tiled a lot. So we're just gonna do a quick UV projection on this. And you can see it's a little better, not perfect. It's a little too big. So let's actually do some shading editing here. Or UV editing. Let it figure this out. Oh. We'll just take a minute while this hopefully unfreezes. Okay, we're just gonna open this up again. Oh, it's a personal file. Autosave. Boop, boop. There we go. And let's go back to this. Find a good ground. Ground, stony. Apply this. We're gonna change the scale on this. And do a quick smart UV project. Then go to the UV editor, select everything, and just scale it up a bit. And so it's not perfect, but it looks a heck of a lot better than what we were doing before. And then add a little bit more, just so we can kind of get a good idea of what scene we want. I want to add a physical atmosphere, which is a great little add-on. I think it's called stars and physical atmosphere, if I'm correct. What it does is it essentially acts as an HDRI, but it also creates density within the atmosphere, so it adds volumetrics, which are very useful. And it even has some presets for other planets. Or they have like a nice little retro wave preset, which I do like. But I'm gonna go with Mars, and we're gonna just try to change a little bit. You can see it adds a sun object, and you can kind of actually, I like this actually. We're gonna end up putting this up here. Want some more clouds. And I also want stars to be coming through. There we go. And so we have some. You'll be able to see if we just crank up this stuff, we'll get some more. All right. Now we can start blocking out the scene. If I can find my numpad. There it is. So I think that we want camera facing the sun. I also tend to use wide angle lenses for something like this. So maybe going down to a 25mm. Yeah, there we go. Now we have a general area for what we want to do. Let's start creating something. We'll probably edit the sky at some point, but for now, I kind of want to just get started making. So let's start with maybe like crystals or something. Something coming out of the ground, a little bit natural. So we can also go out of. So for a crystal, kind of using this Kyber crystal as a reference, but we don't need it to be as complicated. So and do. And then we're gonna kind of just make this a little like grouping of crystals. Might even just grab this line, bring it down a bit. We'll probably create a little bit more randomness with a, I'm going to make a either a normal or a displacement texture. And we're going to see what happens with that. It's a good little crystal cluster, I think. I want to make them intersection a bit more. See how that looks. I think that's good. I want them to feel like constrained. There, and then let's make a texture, because that's a little bit more interesting. So we're just going to add a new shader here. And I'm going to add in a color ramp. I'm going to add in a, let's say a Voronoi texture. Then we want this to be a displacement. Let's just work on the color first. We're going to go color straight into there. And we're going to grab the Voronoi color. Throw it into here. Get something like this. We'll see how this works. I could add an emission to it as well. I want it to be random. Colors. Let's see what other textures we can mess around with. See what happens with a noise texture instead. Yeah, I think a noise texture is maybe a little better. It's a little more subtle. All right, I like that. And just to get these all, don't want to get the ground. We're just gonna apply all of the, grab the ground? Nope. Grab the sun somehow though, so, no. All right, so now we can mess with all these materials at the same time. I think we're gonna do a, we can get rid of this Voronoi texture. I'm gonna duplicate this, also throw in a texture coordinate onto the object. Yeah, that's what we want. And then we're gonna throw this into an emission. Kind of get a better idea for how we can get these looking. There we go. So now you can see we've given them a little bit of a glow. Kind of also want them to have a bit of like a glass-like quality. So we're gonna see if we can kind of get through that. Might be a little difficult with the emission. Got the emission. Yeah, you can see it's starting to be transmissive. That down to 2. And we're going to darken this color. So I think we're gonna make this a little bit more of a nighttime scene. Oh, there we go. Now you see everything. Let's. Oh, it's the actual sun. What I want. I think that. Let's see where this how this looks on the camera. All right, I'm gonna make this into one object for the sake of easy on me. Oh, did that mess up the shading? No, that's fine. All right, this is going to be crystals. 1. Now, we're going to make. I'm going to pull this out of here. Is this not? Grab this. Oh, I accidentally threw the texture into there, the landscape. Problem. It's there we go. Take that landscape. Oop. Very smart to work off this here. All right. Now I kind of want these to be scattered, so we're gonna run to. Where's my scattering tool? There it is. We're gonna take this plane. Going to scatter object, and we're gonna touch that, and maybe this. Go scatter. All right. Hello. How are you doing, Shepherd Sound? Just gonna take this down. We don't need this many. We definitely don't need this many crystals. I want to make them very small, so they're. Yeah. Just put them around here. Limit collision. They should have probably a meter apart. Oh, hey, Lan. Just got caught up watching the news. Yes, crystal hair. So we're gonna no culling mask needed. We're gonna have a random rotation. Let's see. Oh, friend. Hey, bud. All right, turn this to 25 degrees. And this will go to Eddie. This is Eddie. He likes to join my streams, huh? All right, let's see how this looks on the camera. So far, so good. Yes, I think the emission's probably a little too strong, but we can deal with that later. Try and make a structure soon. But I also want to increase the random factor. Please. All right. Now let's make a weight map that kind of determines where our structure is going to be. I'm going to do this mode and just try to find like a good crater. It was a little close to the edge. I think we're just going to go right here, grab some weight paint. And okay, perfect. Now if we go to scatter, and find our crystal system, we can add a, where is it? Systemless distribution culling mask. So you can add a vertex group, just automatically throw that in, and it's gonna get rid of any objects that are in there. And we can obviously edit this if we'd like, and kind of subtract a bit if you found, let's say we took a little bit too much. But of course we'll be also moving the camera around, so this will probably need some editing. Okay. Now, let's figure out a structure. I'm gonna bring up my reference materials again and figure out what we're looking at. I like something a little bit more metal-y and imposing, I guess. So let's just start with this. Or actually, you know what's a good idea? You can make this into like a little, even like a little mech or something. How does that look? Like a little storefront even, actually. That sounds good. So I'm just gonna cut this a couple times. Go 5 times, and then a couple times on here. We're gonna cut out this middle. Oh. Probably gonna go and Create a ceiling. Coffee. Oh, wait. I'm kind of imagining this is almost like a trading post or something. So we're gonna. Oh. And we're gonna give this a quick texture just to get it out of the way. All right. Oof. All right, this needs, it needs the scale applied to it. All transformations, really. And then it needs to be unwrapped. That creates a little bit of something nicer. And that's also going to get applied to this. Just so we have something immediately. I'll do some UV stuff later, but now... Also, I want to find this a little bit of a more flat plane to sit on. Oop. Maybe there, and I can bring this forward. My cat is currently sitting on my keyboard. Sorry, Eddie. I gotta move. To create the door, just going to use a Boolean on this cube. I have some non-destructive tools. Didn't cut all the way through, but that's okay. I have some non-destructive tools, or it might actually be this. Like, where is it? Hard ops. But I am still learning that. Although hard ops would be able to do something like, oh, not that. It would be able to do something really nice, like bevel this whole thing, which is kind of is something I want to do there. Really easily. Also, none of it is permanent until we tell the program to do so. So we're gonna bevel this as well. Ooh. Get a good bevel. I just want a little bit of one. There we go. Hard ops also, just like as a hard ops and box cutter, they can come in the same pack. Box cutter is also really neat. It just lets you do things like let's see, I can just draw here, and it just cuts a little thing for me. Completely non-destructive too. But I'm still learning how to use those. Same with Decal Machine. That's a fun add-on that I'm still learning how to use. Alright, so now we kind of have this recessed doorway. Let's see how everything's looking in rendered view. And we're going to save this as Twitch. Sci-Fi. There it is. All right. So let's add a quick light in here. Oop. Light. Add some point lights. Let's create a curve or something. Maybe even just some like neon tubes to go around this window. Now, how do I want this to curve? Oh, see the beveling messed up a little back here, but that's okay. Deal with that later. So that's not going to be on camera. So, get this Bezier curve up. Oh. We'll straighten this out as we go along. Right now, I just want to get the basic shape kind of done. Keeps doing this. Ooh. We're gonna grab this whole thing. Kind of do it over here. All right, looking pretty good, except for one corner, which I just need to adjust, and this corner also kind of needs adjusting. If only because this is sticking out a little bit much. Not super ideal, but we're almost there. Oh, well, that would explain it. Nothing's quite even. So that's easy to fix. Everything up here. Alright, so now that we got a basic shape, maybe a little rough, doesn't really matter. Let's bring this back over here. We're going to turn this into some form of neon tube. Add some cuts to it. Weird about cuts. There we go. Say 30 cuts. Directional. Nice, I'm not letting me add loop cuts. There we go. Still won't let me add more than one. Let's try that again. There we go. I'm gonna add, let's say, 50 cuts. That's gonna kind of let it bend a bit better once we attach it to this curve. So let's find where the curve starts, add in the 3D cursor, origin to 3D cursor, and then we're gonna bring this kind of on top of that. That's actually pretty good. Okay, origin to 3D cursor. Now we're just gonna give this a color to have some fun for now, and I'll probably add in the neon in a second. And then we're gonna go back to this curve, and so there's no thing there. Go into here, add the modifier curve, curve object, curve. Oop. Deform axis. Now, why is it not bending it? Should be enough. Let's just open up. I'm gonna look at another project I did just to double check what is happening here. Okay, let's save this. Find my... Let's see, where's something that I did this in? Let's see if I can find Daybreak Diner. Has some neon in it. Okay, well, figure that out later. All right. Until then, I don't know. Let's work on... Let's hide that for now. Maybe like a little vehicle. Like a little... vehicle sitting out front. It's gonna be like a little bit of a pickup. Ooh. Ooh, not quite. And then eventually this bucket can be filled with crystals that will be visible. Kind of in the long run. And we can take out the front here to make it like a little, like a trawler almost, like something that picks up objects as it goes through. And add some treads. So for the treads, make some gears. Ah, wrong thing to delete. Wrong thing to delete. All right, there we go. Get that cylinder back in. I think it would actually be, the less you have, the more that you can just kind of extract individual cogs. So let's see here. I feel about that. Oh, where did it go? Where did it go? Too high up. And we're just gonna give this some paint quickly just to differentiate it a bit. Find some raw metal. Where is it here? Where is it? Right. Now let's just kind of look at what we're looking like in the render engine. Oh, did I get rid of my scattered objects somehow? Oh, did I accidentally delete my crystal at some point? That's okay. We'll figure it out. I'm not too worried. Okay, well, let's quickly make those again because that was relatively important to the lighting. All right, let's just make a quick crystal cluster here again. Very simple. Oh, nope. All right. Let's get that all put together. We can rescatter this. And put a good shader on. Like my crystal shader. Perfect. All right. That was a quick way back to that. Get this scattered. All right, there we go. Quickly go back down to 0.2 with a limit collision of 1 meter apart. Quick vertex group. And random tilt. say 25. Getting a little squished here, but that's okay for now. Where did I put that? There we go. Why is it so squished? Weird. Oh, that's not right. I want to draw. Draw. So let's grab, whoops. We're just gonna parent the parent all these to the car. Parent, where's my parent? There we go. Object. And so we can just move. Oops. Just move this around and get everything with it. Let's take the emission down a little bit on this. Oops. All right. Oh, you know what? I know exactly which project I can look at to reference my my curves. I actually just remembered that I was just working on something with curves. Let's find that. Sky Pasture. Double check what I am messing up. Here. Oh, right. I'm missing a array modifier. That's what it was. That's what I've done with everything else. Yeah, okay. Not recent Twitch Sci-Fi. Oh, that crashed Blender. Bring it back up. K-Cycles is nice, but it's a little finicky on whether it wants to crash or not. So, you know, what we're gonna do... Add an array. Okay, so we've got that now. We just need to get it wrapped around the curve. I'm still be having trouble wrapping around. That's okay. Other stuff to work on. Like getting some treads on this. Okay. So we've got the gears done. I'll probably add... I have some decals that I might look into adding, but I think it'll also be nice to have like a little something in the middle to look like it's fastening it. We're essentially going to do this kind of curve again. Maybe a little bit smarter this time by starting with a circle. Just bringing this over here. And we're gonna go ahead and stretch this out a bit. We can even bring the car over if we want. Not too picky about that. There, and then... So we don't have a lot of curves to work with, but if you just grab 2 and hit subdivide, it'll just throw a couple in between. Or I'll throw 1 in between. And, oop, don't know what I did there. Subdivide. Subdivide. So it's not the most... It'd be a little messy. All right. That was so much faster than what I was doing before, which is just good. All right, so now we just need to create the tread. What do I want to use to create a tread? Let's look up some treads. So I can get a reference. Like, let's see which one I want to bring here. Let's look up track, or, user tread. Okay, there we go. That's what I want. I just want to make a basic version of this. I don't want to get too wild with it. Okay, so you can bring the origin over here. Bring it down to the... And we're gonna just start with a cube. And I'm just gonna power way down. I'm not too worried about making it look like it's exactly working. I just kind of want it to look cool. With something like that, and then it would have... It can even be a little bit shorter. And then we'll give it a couple of actual treads on the top. Let's go take off this. This. That's perfect. And I'm just gonna extend them a bit. Then we're gonna see if I can kind of put this. Oop. Go. Oop. Okay, perfect. This is starting to work. Not fitting the full curve. So we're adding another curve. Say circle. And there we go. Fine. There we go. I got something working. Yay! All right. This is what I've been trying to do with the neon around the little booth for this is just make a nice little curve here. All right, so if I just kind of, I can mess around with this. We're gonna add in, look at that. Pretty good, I would say. Might bring the, also having these things kind of get out of track here. I'm really bad. The one thing I'll notice, I'm very bad at labeling my stuff in Blender. I started really good at it, but at anything inside Blender, it just ends up being cube 1 through 100. Which is not a good way to run this. Okay, we're just gonna decrease this a little bit. We want to kind of get it to hug up against the thing. And the good thing is that I can always go back before I apply anything. I can go back to this cube that I am now going to label, so I'm not doing exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm going to label this as vehicle tread. And we're going to give it a texture quickly. I'm using Extreme PBR Textures. It's a great little texture pack. It's a little expensive. Good alternatives are Blender Kit, which is free, and all of the like, it's just a free little kit that has models, materials, scenes, HDRs, and you just search like cement, and then it brings up a bunch of not copyright free, Creative Commons textures that you can use for free. It's because it's free and because it's community run, the texture quality can vary. You can find some really good what's the procedural textures in here though, but I ended up getting PBR, which is a bit more professional, I guess. So what is this made out of? Say it's made out of a, well, what are the options for plastic? Maybe this wouldn't be bad. Okay. You can see there's a little overlap here, so we're just gonna, no, not quite gonna get rid of it. We'll probably, I'll see if I can maybe hug this up a little bit so it just and it can go down a bit. But it can, oh yeah, that makes sense. The origin is still, oh wait, this is, yeah, that's fine. There we go. A little bit more beefy. It's not, texture isn't perfect, but for now, I kind of do, texturing I tend to do last. So I usually just throw in, that's why I like having these libraries, is that you can just kind of go in and just throw on whatever, and it might end up actually sticking, 'cause a lot of the textures are fairly high quality. These, let's just, we can just, and bring it up, and same with these. Oops. And bring it up. All right, looking pretty darn good, if I do say so myself. So I don't want to apply these treads quite yet, because I feel like I'm going to end up doing some more with them. But we're going to parent everything again to this. So we're just going to grab 2 treads and also the one circle. Right? Yes, and we're going to grab this, parent. Object. Okay. Yeah, you'll see that it's... Ooh, flipped myself completely over there. Grabbing onto something over here, but it's not too big of a deal. Oop. So now I should just be able to go... There we go. And I want to do something about the car paint as well. This is the car paint in Extreme PBR is really good if you do a lot of car modeling, but obviously this is not where we're gonna find nice cars. I want to be a little bit more gritty. Right, so we're just gonna take off this car paint. We're gonna find a quick and then a quick metal. Worn paint, that sounds good. What feels good in this list? I can go in and edit them as well. There's a whole little editor. Another cool thing about Extreme PBR, I know that this isn't an ad for Extreme PBR, but you can do really cool things where you can add like worn edges to EV cycles easily. You can mix any of their textures, so you can have like formed concrete tiles on the top, and if you want like algae or something growing up on the bottom, or some fauna or flora, then flora, not fauna, then you can do that. Let's try this and just see what it looks like. Ooh, okay. There we go. All right. Getting there. Then for the window, so what you can also see is that when I go into edit mode, all of the faces are still original without the bevel, and so that's one of the good things about something like hard ops, is that it's completely non-destructive until you want it to destroy. So hard ops and box cutter are really convenient for doing stuff like just really good for making hard body materials. Hard ops is very specifically for things like glass. I kind of want to make like a little window. So we're just going to go ahead and delete these faces. You know what? Let's bring these two. Well, let's just by hand. All right, looking okay. You'll see there's a couple messed up areas with the beveling. That's finicky stuff that can be cleaned up later, but when I'm just trying to block out a scene with maybe not the final textures, it can help a lot. So I kind of want, let's see, I still need to put something in the front here. I'm thinking almost like a an auger of some kind. or maybe like buckets. But I also am realizing we only have 25 minutes left this session. So yeah, I might even look at what this is looking like and see if we can get a couple more things to before we quickly run out of render, and then I'll maybe post it on post it in the Hand-Eye Discord. It's great. If you aren't in the Hand-Eye Discord, it's a fun place to hang out. I think that we have a command for it. Yes, we have a Hand-Eye Discord. It's really nice and fun places. We talk about stuff over there. We're starting to plan lots of events this year, so come and hang out, hang out with some fun people. The Hand-Eye community is great. There we go. I'll eventually need to, I'll eventually edit some of these crystals. I think there's a little bit too many, and they're a little, they spawned a little weird. They spawned a little squished, so I need to double check to see if there's something wrong with the scale or anything, and I might just replace them in off stream. But, and I can also just mess around with some, yeah, that's nice. Okay, so now let's figure out this neon that I've been trying to get working. For whatever reason, it doesn't want to work. So we're just gonna restart with that. We have this, which I'm actually, where's that Bezier? I don't. Okay, so where's that right now? Okay, so we're just gonna reuse the tank tread because uh-oh, where did it go? There it is. Okay, because this ended up being kind of a nightmare that didn't work out for me. So we're just gonna bring this over here. We're gonna this here. Oh, I may as well actually, you know what? Let's just do the actual modeling here. Yes, 0. Okay, so just bringing in a cylinder. I think we're gonna bring it up to 50 cuts just to make it a little bit smoother. We can always subdivide or shade smooth if we want. I'm gonna take myself out of orthographic view. And we're gonna make this real tiny and a little bit longer. Yeah. And then let's 0 this out. Bring it down to 0 on the Z. And get this down as well. Pretty good. I'm gonna make it a little smaller. And bring it back to this origin. I'm putting this here because when you're doing curves, you want to have the origin of both the curve and the object at the same place. It just helps determine which direction and what curve it's going. Otherwise, it's going to try curving in an entirely different place and not bringing it to your curve. Still think this needs to be a little smaller, just because it's only neon. And then we're going to add some cuts in. Start with 10. And now, let's bring set origin to 3D cursor. And then on here, we're going to set origin to 3D cursor. So they're in the same spot because they're both pointing at the 3D cursor. And we're going to add an array modifier along the Y. Nope, it's a Z. Z. And then we're going to add a curve to be Oh, the curve object is that. There we go. Finally. Got it working. Okay, so here's what will be our neon sign. Or, not a sign. Some lights. So let's quickly parent. Bezier circle 001 is what I want, I think. I guess I can actually kind of move this. Oh, nope, I can't move this around without. Look at that. So you're gonna want to bring these together. So I'm gonna grab this, and we're gonna parent object, and then I should be able to, yeah, to just bring this with me and have it come over here. Oh, where did I put it? There it is. And now, I think if I edit the curve, we should be good on. Let's see here. This is the experiment. This is the true test. Yeah. It can be a little bit of a pain. You know what? Just to make it so it's not so much of a pain. We're just going to zero both of these out on the. RZ 27.4. There we go. Not the right way. RZ minus 27.4. 0. Okay. That's pretty straight. Okay. And so we're gonna do the same thing with this, except probably 90. Yeah. And the reason why I did that was just that it's a whole lot easier to work in, say, orthographic view, looking straight on an axis, or it's just easier to work on an axis when you're moving things around. Because then you can just mash X or Y and keep everything pretty uniform. Okay, so we're gonna hide the big one, and we're just gonna start working on these. Oop. Not what I wanted. Okay. As you can see, it's not perfect, but we're not going for perfection here. You want to make something look more realistic, make sure it has flaws. So, that's also just a bit of a use, I guess. What am I looking for? I'm looking for this one? No. Cylinder. There we go. Okay, so now you can see a little bit better dealing with. Like I said, we don't want things to look perfect. We want things to look a little more non-3D. Okay. I think the final thing we're going to do today is make the shader for this, which is going to be a somewhat of a neon shader, which is going to be a color ramp. What I've done before is that you can have, if you want to imitate the kind of, you know how neon, they have like areas that are painted black, so color can't get through. You can kind of create that with a bit of a like texture map into a color ramp. I'm not going to be too concerned about that because it's more work than this. But what color should it be? Like a purple, and then we're going to add. It's going to be purple on the outside. It's going to be purple on the inside, and then in the middle where the light is brightest, it's going to be, oh, that was the wrong order, but we want this in the middle, and we're going to see if we're going to need to texture map it now, and it's fairly easy on here because if you go to preferences, add-ons, and then hit node wrangler, it's something that honestly should be included in Blender off the go. It's free and it is in Blender, but it lets you do so many things. It lets you merge nodes, it lets you create little group types, it has automatic things for things like texture coordinates, which is good. Oh, nope, that's what I wanted. It did update properly. Oh, kind of. You can see that it's not quite proper, but UV. Oh, it's definitely not right. Object. Let's find the rotation. The right rotation. All right. Don't know how much I'm getting this actually generated. Oh, either way, let's throw this into a emission shader. Mission. And I will double check how to get that neon shader working again, just because it is quite neat once you get it working. Okay, so let's see how things are looking. We're gonna take off all of the little gimbits and stuff and get all of the stuff off screen. And we're also gonna run the samples up to 100. And then for the render, so for Cycles X, if you're using just base Blender 3.0, you're gonna be using, let's say, 1100 samples here, and then in the render you're going to be using 4000. With K-Cycles, it brings the time down a whole lot through its new denoiser, but in the final renders I'll still use quite a bit of samples. But right now, this is kind of what we are looking at. The bloom, if we can take off the bloom, I like the bloom, it's just a little intense, so we can take down the bloom a bit. And I think I also want to adjust the sun again. I like where it is, but I think it could be It might be a little bit better if it's like hidden behind a cloud. And then I want to add headlights to this as well. But I think that this is a fairly good place to start. I'm gonna mess around with it a bit more in my personal time and then figure out where it's going. We still have 5 minutes. Let's create some quick headlights for this car. Let's do like some kind of like almost modified pop up and down headlights. Yeah, the way that Cycles renders is great. It's very satisfying. We'll maybe see. It's pretty quick to render, so as long as this doesn't crash my system, I'm going to do a quick render in about 2 minutes. See how everything looks. I just need to get some lights in here. And also shade these. I mean, I can just go down here, find the yellow paint. Paint. All right. Paint. Paint. And then also take the front. Add a new texture. It's gonna be white. I think once I work on this a bit more, it's going to be like a more of a glass, which I could add in a second. All right, get some lights in here. You can even just do this. Edit, light, point. And then duplicate that over here. This might look a little weird for now, but it's going to be something that we can work on later. All right. Yeah, that's not too bad. All right, let's see where the camera is. It's not, it's the beginning of a scene. But we're gonna save and see if my computer can do a quick render while I am streaming and then call it a night. So let's see, render. Nope, the answer is no. The answer is absolutely not. I'll try once again. Sometimes it takes a try or two to, especially when you're scattering stuff. But or if I just, maybe if I start in a wireframe, it'll, okay. Render image. Okay, this is going much better than the last time. Here we go. Oh, I forgot to turn off the floating crystal, but. So this is at 300 samples with denoiser, bloom, and flares. No other compositing. we'll see how long this takes. Done. All right. So, this is where we have ended up for today. Still lots of work to be done, but I think this is good for a first 2 hours. All right. Thank you all for joining. I'm gonna look and see if anyone is streaming right now. And let's put in a raid, I guess. Let's see. Oh, and that we're following is live, but you know who is live? Critter Vision. So we're gonna start that. All right. Thanks so much for joining. I've been Aaron Demeter. I'm working in operations and sponsorship coordinating at Hand Eye. I'm also a 3D artist. You can find a lot of my work at quiet__horizon. Or I have a personal Instagram at Aaron Demeter. Most of my 3D art goes on to quiet__horizon on Instagram. Please check out our Discord, which is in the chat. Follow us on Twitter. We have lots of events coming up. It's going to be a fun year. We stream every week on Tuesdays, so keep coming and hanging out. All right. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for watching.